Hey there survivors, how's it going? I'm your host Douglas here at Dromway Productions, bringing you another Halloween collecting video. And today we're going to be wrapping up our review on the full line of Rob Zombie Halloween Michael Myers masks released by Trick or Treat Studios. Here's the evolution of the Rob Zombie Halloween Michael Myers masks. First, we start off with the 92 Murder Mask. This is the clean version of Michael's mask in the Remake series, and he pretty much just uses it when he's a kid. After that, we have what is just called the Halloween 1 2007 mask by Trick or Treat Studios. Many people would call this the aged version, the buried version, whatever. But of course, this is the decayed look that Michael sports for pretty much a majority of the film. He technically has the escape mask and all the other various papier-mâché masks he made while he was in the sanitarium, but this is the main Myers mask. Then at the beginning of Halloween 2, we have the Dream Sequence mask, which is the very bloody version of this mask. However, pretty much the same exact sculpture and everything here gets used a little bit later in the film before the final version, and it's just painted a lot more darker and decayed. So this one kind of acts as two different masks in the film. And now, of course, we've made it to the final one. Some people call this the Torn, the Ripped. There's many different names for it. Trick or Treat Studios just calls it the Halloween 2 Michael Myers mask. And I gotta say, besides the CGI mask, this may just be the most controversial Michael Myers look in the entire series. So, as you've just seen, Michael's mask rots and gets even more messed up throughout the films. And at one point, someone ends up ripping off this half of the face. Now, for a lot of people, they love this look because Tyler Mane looks so creepy and just really sinister under the mask. But for a lot of people, it's terrible because they don't want to see Michael's face. As you just saw, Michael's mask gets more decayed as the films go on. And eventually, whenever it's past this stage and really rotted looking, someone ends up ripping off this half of the mask. And at this point, the fandom is divided. A lot of people love this look because Tyler Mane is so creepy underneath, and it kind of gives Michael a bit more acting with his eyes than he would even have behind the mask. But for a lot of purists, seeing Michael's face was a huge misstep, and they really don't like this look. Personally, I am more of a fan of the complete mask. However, whenever it comes to a look like this, where you've got bits and pieces of the face poking through the rot, I think that's kind of a really cool look. This is just a bit too revealing, but honestly, as a kid, and even now, I still do like the look. As a look for a crazed killer, Tyler Mane's face behind this is definitely pretty scary. And I gotta say, out of any other actor who's played Michael, I think the only one who could pull off that scary face look behind the mask like that would probably be James Jude Courtney. Speaking of which, due to untreated wounds and continuously wearing a rotting, old, burnt up, nasty, moldy Halloween mask, James Jude Courtney's Michael got sick and infected, whereas Tyler Mane's Michael only put the mask on for special occasions and pretty much spent the rest of the time roaming as a hobo. A lot of people also really hate the Hobo Myers look, but that's another one that personally I do enjoy quite a bit, and the fact that Michael is homeless carrying around a sleeping bag and several layers of jackets and stuff like that kind of makes sense considering he's not really going to be popping up, staying in someone's house, have some random hermit nurse him back to health or anything weird like that. And I also want to say I really wish that these would have came out a couple of years ago, because I used to have one of the screen-used pairs of coveralls that was used during the ending of the film when Michael falls backwards onto the farm implements in the original theatrical ending, and then of course he is stabbed to death by Laurie Strode. If I would have had one of these then, that display would have been so much cooler, and I almost certainly never would have parted with those. But still, it is really cool that we do have these masks now. And speaking of which, I don't think I've mentioned it yet in this review, but these masks are directly out of the screen-used mold. All of them. So if you're interested in Rob Zombie's Halloween, there are a ton of replica artists out there who have done amazing ground-up sculptures. However, if you're looking for true accuracy, or if you're just the type of collector who wants to have movie mold stuff in your collection, you can't beat these. So that pretty much addresses the sculpture. Now let's talk about the actual stock finish. I know in the last video I said that I thought the Dream Sequence mask had the worst finish so far. And that was very careful wording because personally I think this has the worst finish out of all of these. The Halloween 1 masks are almost perfect stock. If you want to do some work to them, you can definitely make them look a lot better. The Dream Sequence mask is still nice, but unfortunately they went a bit too heavy on like the weathering look. The way that they dry brushed on the white left a lot of darker tones, and it just looks like a darker mask compared to the rest of these in the lineup. Even this one, the white and gray tones are a lot closer to screen used. However, there is one massive misstep with these that I just can't explain. From what I can tell, the screen used mask and even the product photos does not have any black on it. But for some reason, they have airbrushed black on this mask. They've done black on the corner of the eye here, all around the eyes. There's like one weird airbrush swoop you can see here, just sprayed on the side of the face. There's some black right here on the top of the head, over here on this side. And as I just mentioned, as far as I can tell, those tones are not supposed to be on this paint job, and it seems entirely unnecessary to add them. It would probably just look better without them entirely. As for the blood on these, they went for like a darker dried blood look, and I think they accomplished that pretty well. It looks all dry and crusty like it's about to flake off. But honestly, because of the black airbrushing on this side, it just seems like it's definitely worth repainting this one. These you could get by with just as is right off the shelf. This one I think needs the most work out of any of them. However, yet again, it is still from the screen use mold, so if you're trying to complete the entire collection, or you just want it as an officially licensed mask, I think it's worth picking up for that alone. I will say that the hair on this also looks much longer than at least the Halloween 1 masks, so as far as being able to style this hair to look more like the screen use mask, I think it should be pretty easy to do that with the stock look. However, like I said, that paint definitely needs some work. For the side tag, you have the Halloween 2 poster artwork on the back, sculpted by Wayne Toth, of course, because it's from the real molds. And aside from that, they cut out most of the rot. However, there are some areas that aren't trimmed, like this spot on the neck, some different little spots on the face, and right here on the ear, if you look closely, you'll notice sculpted lines where the rip is actually supposed to go into the ear itself. However, by cutting this, beyond what it's already cut and damaged, you're just further damaging the integrity of the mask long term as far as it keeping shape and holding up and staying in one piece because it's supposed to look like it's rotting. So if you intend to wear this often and that tiny little piece of latex is no big deal to you, I say leave it. However, if you're looking for accuracy, you can go ahead and trim that out right into the ear hole, and that's pretty much going to make it like perfectly accurate trim-wise. Anyways, I've rambled on long enough about the mask itself. Let's go ahead and read the excerpt from the Trick or Treat Studios website. So, as I stated, this one is just called the Halloween 2 2009 mask, not the ripped, torn, dark hath, anything like that. So, $69.99. So both of the Halloween 2 versions are $10 more expensive than the Halloween 1 versions. The only reason I can think of the extra price is because of all of the rot that's trimmed out on these. Having to have people go in and carefully trim all that out definitely takes a lot longer. It adds more steps to the process, so I'm sure there's more people to pay, thus it costs more. But let's go ahead and read this. From Rob Zombie's Halloween series comes the officially licensed Halloween 2 Michael Myers mask. This version of the mask shows Michael as he has been surviving as a drifter since the events of Halloween 2007. Our Halloween 2 2009 masks were developed using the film used master mold direct from special effects artist Wayne Toth, who made the masks for the film. And then of course it notes that the photos of a prototype artist version and the actual ones may be a bit different. And I gotta say, out of all of these, I think this one is the most different from the product photo. It doesn't mean I don't recommend it. Yet again, for $70, a screen use mold piece, you couldn't get a blank for that previously. So great price there. As for the finishing though, I think they could definitely use a little refinishing. Well, there you go. That includes the entire lineup of Rob Zombie Halloween Michael Myers masks from Trick or Treat Studios. I do need to pick up one more Dream Sequence so I can repaint it to be that rotted version. But outside of that, it's time for me to go ahead and just take a little bit of time touching these up, fixing the hair, doing stuff like that to get them ready for my lineup. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed all these videos, and if you have not seen them and you're interested in checking them out, I do have individual reviews for all these masks. So yeah, love you all, thank you for watching, and see you next time.